To start off building the chainsaw mill, we cut several pieces of square tubing here on the horizontal bandsaw. It has adjustable feed rate and made quick work of the metal tubing. We used 1-inch square tubing for the frame of the chainsaw mill and 1 1/4-inch square tubing for the sliders that will be able to adjust the chainsaw mill in length to accommodate separate bars and in height as well to accommodate different cut widths, or cut depths I should say. These are the spacers. They essentially attach the mill to the chainsaw and allow the blade to cut parallel to what the mill is sliding on. Here's the chainsaw mill coming together, just the frame, the 1-inch square tubing. The next step is to add the 1 1/4-inch sliders and the 2 parallel columns that the chainsaw mill will actually ride up and down on to adjust the thickness of the cut. And here are the 2 parallel columns that the chainsaw mill itself, the frame, will be riding up and down on and able to adjust the thickness of the cut. I think what we came out in the end was a minimum of 6/4 and a maximum of around 14 inches, I believe. The next step on here is to add the 1 1/4-inch square tubing sliders and to tap those to have screws in them to where we can set them and they won't move. Having a full metal fabrication shop at my disposal definitely didn't hurt my ability to make this chainsaw mill. I did find this treasure here though. It's a twin drill press. I'm not really sure what it's used for, but I only use the right side. That's only to make the left side jealous. The next step for me was to tap the sliders so we could put set screws in them in order to lock the chainsaw mill in place so we can have consistent cut depths, and we were able to keep the mill on several different lengths of chainsaw bar, which would help cut different widths of logs. And if I were to upgrade the chainsaw and get a larger or longer bar, we wouldn't have to build a completely new Alaskan style chainsaw mill for this. And here are the finished sliders. I threaded bolts through them with the nuts on in order to tack weld the nuts there. They'll be re-threaded once they've cooled after welding. All the parts are then cleaned, sanded down, so operation will be smooth. While I was sanding, I noticed this belt and disc sander, and I thought it was very interesting. As I walked over and I saw it was a Powermatic. I told my dad about it being the gold standard in woodworking. He told me he purchased this for $100. I couldn't believe it. And here are the sliders after they've been tack welded. I'm letting them cool and then they'll be re-threaded to ensure that the set screws, or the bolts, can go through very smoothly. Here I'm drilling and tapping the T-brackets that will go on either side of the chainsaw bar in order to keep it parallel and attach the chainsaw mill to the bar itself. Now this Bridgeport is pretty old, but it went through and operated better than I expected it to. I was very impressed with it. Now here's the finished bottom portion of the T-bracket after being drilled and threaded, or drilled and tapped, and then have that piece welded to it that will actually pinch the chainsaw bar.
Yeah.
And now having the threading through both pieces, the chainsaw bar goes through here, and the two pillars to adjust a height will be welded on top. As you can see, they're about 6 inches wide, and it's open enough for a chainsaw bar to go all the way through. Here is the frame made solely of the 1-inch square tubing, and having two of the sliders already installed right there on that bar for it to move with the length of the chainsaw bar. It's been tacked and it's ready for a solid weld.
This goes in like yogi.
This right here is a 1-inch broach, and it is being pushed through the sliders to make sure they operate smoothly.
Well, maybe not.
The rest of the frame is then solid welded together. After that, it's sanded to be cleaned up, and it's ready to be assembled and have the sliders installed. And here is the finished product. Before painting and getting all prettied up, you can see where it pinches the bar and the chainsaw holds onto it, and that top frame right there is what rests on top of the log as a reference to make a clean cut and to mill lumber essentially out of downed logs. I'm very excited to get to use this soon. Hopefully the weather will improve. Once the weather improves in my area, I will be putting out a video of this chainsaw mill in action. If you have any questions, please comment. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, please take the time to like, and if this is your first time on my channel, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Now, this was made at Kutrite Manufacturing in Tremont City, Ohio, and if you have any questions about it, please feel free to give them a call. I got the number on the screen, and ask for Mike. He's the owner. He'll talk to you anytime. And if you were curious about maybe having one made, yeah, let them know. They'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again. And if you think alley cats are tough, try messing around with a machine shop cat. Meow.